Pro player J1, aka Sinatraa, has some sexual abuse allegations put out against him today by his ex-girlfriend Cleo Hernandez, and I have some posts here that I'm going to go over in just a second. There's a lot of back and forth response and some, consequences that had happened as well. So let's jump straight into our first post here. I know it's going to be a little bit tough for you to see, but I'll put it up on the screen anyways. For those people who are sensitive to certain subjects, there's a trigger warning on the tweet here. Warning here for not safe for work content and stories of sexual assault. She says, when I started dating Jay, I got an IUD because he refused to use a condom. The first time we ever slept together, I told him I wasn't on birth control and he could not finish in me. He did it anyways without my consent. This should have been the first red flag, but I was so a stupid Overwatch League fan, excited about the fact that Sinatraa was interested in me and looked past it. The IUD made it so that sex was very painful for me. Jay knew this and didn't care. I would say it hurt and I wanted to stop, and he'd say, no, I'm so close. As much as it hurt, I learned that he didn't mind hurting me and had no problem with leaving me crying in the bathroom while he slept. Sometimes if I said it hurt early on, he'd stop, but most of the time it wasn't a big concern for him. If he stopped, it wouldn't be without a guilt trip. I went to the doctor for this to try and solve it because I knew he wasn't going to just magically stop anytime soon. He knew it hurt badly enough for me to go to the doctor and still disregarded my pain. He can't try and say that he didn't know, he knew. So with that first one, that is a lot to unpack. I mean, my girlfriend currently has an IUD and I know how painful that can be for her. So literally the second she's like, yeah, that's too much, then that's it. We cut it off, and go about our days. So I totally can understand how an IUD would hurt somebody. And I mean, the non-consensual busting a load inside is definitely an issue as well. Personally, I think that in itself is sexual assault, considering, it's non-consensual, right? Just like how ripping a condom, would be considered sexual assault on either the male or the female part. If one partner, consents to being protected and then the other partner rips or, pokes holes or something, I think that is considered sexual assault, regardless male or woman, So 100%. Same with like lying if you're on birth control. Like if you're like, yeah, I'm on birth control, I still consider that sexual assault. So definitely the busting a nut inside, in my opinion, is considered sexual assault. And I have another paragraph here as well. This was a huge post, and I'm going to leave the links down below so you guys can take a look yourself, because there's no possible way that I could include everything here. But this next paragraph reads, outside of just that, I also learned that saying no to sex was just not an option for me whatsoever. If he tried to start something and I said I didn't want to, he would pout and say it was because I thought he was ugly, I wanted someone else, I didn't love him. He'd say anything that would make me feel guilty. He would throw a fit. I started to learn I needed to give an excuse. I don't want to right now, or it hurts me, was not good enough. So I'd say I had a headache or my stomach hurt, I was too tired, anything so that I didn't have to. I never got away with saying no without a guilt trip. Sometimes he pretended to be okay with my excuses, but then he'd ask for me to kiss him and I'd say okay, and then he just did more and more until we had sex anyways. I'd try and say no again, but he'd push himself on me anyways. So there is, again, a lot to unpack in this situation, right? I 100% agree that, pouting until you get your way is not consent, and that's still a problem, right? If you sit there and you guilt somebody into, having sex with you or having even any relations like a BJ or like a hand job or anything like that they didn't want to originally, but you guilted them, I think that's definitely a problem. Right? Absolutely 100%, in my opinion, that's a problem, right? And then continuing to push it on even after she said no and asking just for a kiss is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, as well. So, there's a lot of stuff here to unpack, and there's a couple things that I also want to show you guys here after another paragraph. Yes, I know there's a lot of reading, but you'll see the document posted below. Eventually, I would rather just say yes and lay there until he was done than fight on the no. I remember one day we were watching videos on this Japanese YouTube channel of a man making knives out of random stuff in my bed while at my apartment. He wanted to have sex. I didn't have an excuse for why I didn't want to at the time, so I just let it happen and laid there and stared at the ceiling with him on top of me, his weight crushing my chest. I think about staring up at that ceiling every day. So this is extremely difficult to read for one. I mean, that sounds awful, 100%. And I mean, being so defeated that you just let it happen regardless is really tough. And I'm sure any victim coming forward about this must have been tough for her to write as well. This next portion of the video might be a little bit hard for some people to listen to, so it's up to you to continue listening or watching, but this audio clip is off the document that she posted, which will be linked below.
More. I'm close.
No.
Close.
No. I don't want to.
So for those of you who might not have been able to hear it, she says, "I'm tired," and Jay says, "No more," and then she says, "Nuh-uh," and then Jay says, "I'm close." She says, "No." Jay says, "I'm close." She says, "No, I don't wanna." Jay says, "Stop, stop, stop." So, I mean, like, that clip is pretty gross. Honestly, it makes my stomach feel nauseous, and, you know, I mean, you guys heard it yourself as well, or maybe you didn't and you need to re-listen, but I mean, it sounds pretty bad to me. There's some other posts here as well, some screenshots of conversations that they've had as well, where he name calls her, and also where he also says, you know, complains about video game stuff as well. She says, "Jay, please, all my friends are mad at me. If I was ever going to tell you that I need you, here's me saying that I need you." And then he says, "You're just saying that." And then she says, "Yeah, no, I'm actually not." And then he says, "Just go be proud of Outlaw, fucking retarded. Jay, please." And then she says, "I'm not proud of the fucking," and then it's cut off, as you can see by the screenshot. But she says, "I'm saying I need you because I need you, really, please." And then he sends question marks. She says, "You know how much," he says, "you know how much I hate losing and how much I hate reading any type of stupid shit on social media. I literally just opened Twitter to make a tweet. I don't want to see some stupid shit like that." And again, talking about Outlaws, and he's like, "I'm just going to go play Overwatch," right? So, I mean, like, that's not a ton, but I mean, given the clip we just heard and what she posted on her twit longer, it's pretty bad, honestly. And with all of this being posted on social media, people obviously were replying, and Cleo posts, "He's not facing repercussions for my actions, he's facing repercussions for his," which, from what we've seen so far, I would say is, you know, fair. I mean, he probably deserves more, but let's continue along. She says, "I also want to add that his girlfriend did reach out to me and apologize, so all of her involvement in this is completely null and void to me, as I completely forgive her." And then she says, "Thank you to everyone who has said something kind and to everyone who has the energy to fight for me with people who say such deeply unpleasant things. I started writing that document in April of 2020, and I never thought I'd have the courage to post it. Thank you for supporting me." And the repercussions that she's talking about, he was suspended from Valorant Champions Tour NA, and they put out a statement. "We are aware of the current situation regarding J1 Sinatraa and have launched an investigation. Per our existing competitive rules and investigation process, a decision has been made to suspend Juan throughout the investigation, and therefore he will not be able to compete this weekend." And they signed the document off, basically showing that it's, you know, that they signed it off, right? And he was also had a skin in Overwatch, and Overwatch League posted, "The Overwatch League is aware of the allegations made against former player Jay Sinatraa 1. We take any allegations of this nature seriously and unequivocally," I can't read, "support victims of abuse. The league is offering a refund of 200 league tokens for the Alien Overwatch League MVP skin to players who request one, at which point the skin will be removed from their collection. We'll share more information on how refunds will work soon." So basically, they're giving their money back for people who bought skins related to him. So I guess that's kind of good. And I mean, this whole document, for everything you guys are going to want to see, it's going to be linked below. I would definitely recommend reading and looking through it yourself and, you know, gaining your own judgment. But the way I see it personally, Jay Sinatraa is gross and disgusting human being, and I mean it's sad to see, such talent and the potential of this person be completely wasted because he wants to be a scumbag. At the end of the day, Jay deserves a jail cell, in my opinion. But he also decided to put out a response as well, which I really disliked. So J1 posts update. It is clear from Cleo's recent post that she recalls our relationship differently than I do. What we do agree on is that it was unhealthy for both of us. I apologize to Cleo and regret how things ended, but I never assaulted her in any way. I am fully cooperating with the investigations and providing the full audio and video clips Cleo referenced in her post. So, I mean, we'll see, I guess, what happens with the investigations, which who knows? I mean, it sounds bad. It looks bad, in my opinion, reading over the document. And, I can feel for the girl. I mean, absolutely. From her side of the story, it sounds really, really bad. I think he's a scumbag with the information that I have right now, but who knows? Maybe more comes out in the future. But I mean, that seems like a little bit of a BS response. And I would think he would at least put out some information trying to clear his name instead of that. And you would think that somebody who's in the public eye, especially a story that's getting as much coverage, I guess, as it is, you would think that there would be, something. He would have at least released full audio clips if he has them. But I mean, that response seemed like it was typed up in 5 seconds, and he just got it out there to try and clear his name instantly in the eyes of fans and stuff. Seems like a whole lot of BS in my opinion. But like I said, we'll see. And if more stuff comes to light and he didn't actually do what was said, then I guess we'll see. But I think you should go below, click the document, form your own opinion, whatever you think, and go from there.